Welcome back to What's Up Wednesday, the show where we go over what's going on in the firearms community, news, new stuff, trending, all that kind of stuff. Every Wednesday, give or take, what's kind of going on. This is the show where I try to look at things from an objective perspective, even though some things may appear as if they were happening in an alternate upside-down universe. That's right, we're back for What's Up Wednesday on Guns and Tactics. Thank you guys very much for spending a few minutes of your day checking in with me. Let's get right to it. The hot topic right now is ATF and pistol braces. The ATF is basically saying no brace for you, although they are offering an amnesty period. Now, basically what that means, for those of you guys unaware, is that pistol braces are incredibly popular. There's tens of millions of them that are in common use. Some estimates say 40 million. Reality is it could be much more than that. Now that is a device that basically goes on to the rear of the firearm and it is used to brace on your forearm, allowing you to have a pistol configuration for certain states that maybe don't allow other configurations, whatever it might be. So now the ATF is basically saying that this was in the works for a while. You can see here, this was the June 2021 factoring criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces. Notice of proposed rulemaking. Now, there have been some legal updates since then, mainly the EPA case that the Supreme Court basically said the EPA, a federal entity, cannot make their own laws. The laws have to be passed by Congress. So we'll see if some of that will start to, get into this. But sadly, sometimes it takes a lawsuit or a challenge of this potential rulemaking for it to be ruled unconstitutional, which does take time and resources. However, back in June 21, we were learning about this last year, that the ATF was looking for certain criteria that would basically say, hey, if your firearm has a brace on it and it has these criteria meeting it, it's basically an SBR or a short barrel rifle and therefore is subject to National Firearms Act regulations, which is registration, $200 stamp, all that other stuff. So it was supposed to go into effect, I believe, in August of this year. Now they're pushing it back to December. But basically what they're proposing is an amnesty period, basically saying, hey, what you have now, you have to register that. Now, generally with an amnesty period is they'll waive the $200 tax stamp, but they're still requiring you to register it. So as we kind of look forward here, you can see that they're looking to amend the Form 1, which is what someone would make if they are looking to manufacture or make their own short barrel rifle or suppressor or whatever. Now, I have a few SBRs. Some of them are factory SBRs that I've received from other manufacturers, and then some other ones are technically ones that I manufactured myself. Basically, I have my own AR and I want to build into an SBR, so you have to fill out what's called the ATF Form 1. You send in your fingerprints, you send in your photograph, passport style photos, you send in your $200 tax stamp, and then at a certain period of time, you get an approval saying, hey, you got your tax stamp, you can possess that item, and you can put it all together and go from there. But now what they're basically doing, anyone who wishes to make and register an NFA gun will have to go through this. Now, the reason why is because they have said that Congress specifically found that short barrel rifles are primarily weapons of war and have no appropriate sporting use or use for personal protection. And that's a quote from 1968, back when SBR stuff was a little bit more in the developing stages. Now, I would argue an SBR is a great personal protection item, but we can debate that another time. But it is kind of curious how back some of this language goes. I mean, I know we're hearing a lot about it now with certain proposals and stuff, but this is back from then. Therefore, if persons can circumvent the NFA by effectively making a unregistered SBR or short barrel rifle by using an accessory such as a stabilizing brace, these weapons can continue to proliferate and could pose an increased public safety problem given that they are easily concealable. Notice they're using the term stabilizing brace instead of pistol brace. They're changing kind of the terminology, and they are basically saying that a stabilizing brace, their quotes, is basically making an SBR circumventing NFA. So that's moving forward. Now, you have a couple of options. Is basically what ATF is going to say is you can turn in the entire firearm with the attached stabilizing brace into the ATF. You can convert it into a long-barreled rifle, so 16 inches. You can register it under the NFA, or you can remove and destroy the stabilizing brace. Again, they're no longer calling it a pistol brace. Even though there's letters from the ATF just a few years ago saying pistol braces are perfectly good to go. In fact, you could even shoulder them in some letters. So this has been kind of a controversy for some time. Now, due to the upcoming amnesty registration of pistol brace weapons, photos of the weapon being registered will be required to prove the weapon does not utilize a pistol brace in its configuration and would qualify for amnesty registration. So they even want pictures of the firearm in this registration period as well. Basically, it is going through the process that no person can make, unless they're subject to the tax, requires fingerprints, all the information, things like that. So typical information, what we would need from that. So this is going to be an interesting topic. Obviously, there's a lot of debate, a lot of controversy over this, and depending on if the Supreme Court gets involved ahead of time or not, basically telling the ATF, hey, you cannot make your own laws by changing these rules, because as of right now, a pistol brace is perfectly legal. Now, their proposed laws that they're trying to make via the rule process would basically say that, hey, you have to register this, otherwise you're going to be committing a crime by possessing an unregistered SBR or an unregistered firearm, basically subject to the NFA. So it's going to be some interesting next few months, I have a feeling, in the industry as some of the different coalitions and advocate groups and stuff like that continue to move forward. So very, very interesting. Speaking of the ATF, they are also making more headlines and things like that. More and more people have doorbell cameras, security cameras, things like that. And as the ATF is starting to literally visit people who purchased from a certain gun broker dealer, either forced reset triggers or solvent traps, the ATF agents are going, basically saying, we know that you've purchased this. We think we know what you're doing with it. We want it back. You can volunteer it. Now, here's the part that I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you any legal advice or anything like that. But keep in mind, it is against the law to lie to a federal agent. Okay? However, they can lie to you. So technically, a federal agent could say, if you turn this over, we will not federally prosecute you. But they could be lying. And that's kind of the thing where certain people, even certain lawyers, are debating, do you acknowledge? Do you say, hey, come back with a warrant, which they certainly might? Or do you wait to contact your own attorney? There's a lot of debate, even amongst lawyers, on exactly how to proceed. But it's important to establish, number one, if you're being detained or arrested, number two, if they have a warrant or not, and number three, if you don't feel comfortable, maybe you should reach out to an attorney if you have one of these devices. Now, if you're worried about being arrested or whatever, those are legit concerns that some ATF agents have kind of been implying or whatever. That is a little interesting to see. Now, they're saying in some of these contacts that have been recorded by doorbell cameras and stuff that if you turn it over, you sign this form acknowledging that, you're turning it over, we give you a receipt, and then it's done, good to go, no issues whatsoever. But they could be lying to you and change their mind, saying now they are going to go after you. Basically, they're saying that a forced reset trigger, even though as of right now, legally, it is not classified as a machine gun, but they're saying it is a machine gun. And a solvent trap, they're saying is suppressor parts, which are illegal to possess. However, a solvent trap is just that, it's a solvent trap. Now, do a lot of people use those as the basis for a Form 1 or create your own type suppressor after they've completed the legal paperwork? Yeah, some people do. So it's definitely interesting to kind of be monitoring this. But again, it all seems to stem from one or two gun broker sellers, and now there's even rumors that other things are going on with that as well. But it is interesting, and I think we're going to see more of this coming up in the future. So if anybody has any firsthand accounts or whatever, go ahead and let me know. But don't be afraid to reach out to someone who you trust for legal advice, i.e. your attorney, before you take anybody's advice on the internet. Myself or any other attorney on the internet, you don't have them on retainer. They're not engaging in any sort of client-attorney privilege with you. So just because you watched a million videos, and believe me, there are some really good videos out there by actual attorneys, they are not your attorney unless you're paying them a fee or have an agreement with them. So be careful with whatever advice you decide to take. Before we continue, I do want to give a shout out to Triggercon. Triggercon is coming up October 7th and 8th this year, 2022, and it's going to be at the Flint Oak Hunting Park near Wichita, Kansas. It's going to be an absolute great time. I'm going to be there. We're going to be covering video with all the cool events and vendors and things like that with new things. It is open to the public. You can register by getting tickets in the link in the description below. And in the very near future, I will have a coupon code to save our viewers a little bit of cash. If it's not quite there at the time of this upload, it will be soon, so check back. But a link will be in the description. Again, Triggrcon is one of my favorite industry events. Right now, there is close to about 80 exhibitors, firearms manufacturers, suppressor manufacturers, accessory manufacturers, a lot of really cool gear that I'm really excited because you get to go there, get your hands on, you get to try stuff, you get to talk to the actual companies. An amazing, amazing event. And again, open to the public, plus there's a really awesome VIP party. So October 7th and 8th, 2022, near Wichita at the Flint Oak Hunting Resort. I hope to see you there. If you find me, make sure you say, hey Dave, you're one of the viewers, and I will have probably a patch or a sticker or some kind of swag for you as well. So make sure you look me up at Triggrcon. I'm looking forward to it. In new firearms news, FN announced their new 509 CC Edge 9mm. CC stands for Comp Carry, and it is a smaller carry style gun. However, it has a compensator. Now it's optics ready. It has a lot of really cool stuff going for it. They're saying it's obviously reducing recoil with that compensator, but has a lot of features on it. Looks like a really interesting gun to shoot. Now, what I like about it is FN makes a good, comfortable gun, and they're generally really reliable, the ones that I have seen, the 509s. But we have 12 and 15 round magazines. We have a nice trigger that is, they say breaking right around 5 pounds. The compensator, suppressor sights, optic ready, has serrations, a hammer forged barrel. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on with this gun. I don't have exact pricing and availability of it yet, as it was just announced, but I would look at this at a dealer of your choice in the near future with this compensator. So quick detach compensator looks kind of cool. It's almost like a little camming lug system. It's not a threaded system, but looks really interesting, and I definitely want to get my hands on one because I think it'd be a cool gun. I kind of wish pistols had like their own little mini 3-lug system, so you could quick detach suppressors, kind of like you can on like a sub gun with a 3-lug. I think that'd be a really cool concept. I know Griffin and a few other companies have done that, but I wish there was like a universal standard that everybody could use. I think that would be really awesome. And then obviously with like Glock barrels, it'd be a little tougher because you have to take it through the slide and whatever else, but who knows. Last, we do say goodbye to James Yeager of Tactical Response. He passed away this week at 49 years old. Now, James was no stranger to the internet and no stranger to controversial topics. One of the things about him is that he was always willing to tell you his mind, whether you liked it or not. But I will say this, I've never met him. I think we maybe saw each other in passing once at a SHOT Show. He was talking to some people, I was talking to some people, but I do know a good amount of people who knew him firsthand, and they all said he was very loyal, he was very helpful, always willing to help out a friend, and he truly did always want to see the community grow by, sharing his knowledge. And I talked to a few other people who said, when I was first getting into guns, I came across some of his videos and it was there, it was helpful, and it was relevant on the topic at hand, so they were always, kind of remember him of that. But he was fighting ALS, he had some health issues that he recently announced that he was, fighting this, and it had some family history and stuff, so our condolences go out to James' family, his friends, his viewers, and, again, anytime someone in the industry passes away, it's a loss for all of us. And again, whether you agree or not with all of his opinions, I don't think any of us could argue that he was passionate about what he did all of the time. And, like I said, we give our condolences to his family, his loved ones, and hopefully they can find peace at this time, because it's always tough to have to say goodbye to a family member or relative. So with that, guys, remember, life is short. Today is truly a gift. That's why it's called the present. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. And sadly, a lot of things happen really, really fast and really, really unexpected. So if maybe I'm a little sentimental because I got some other stuff going on, and now with this or whatever, but realize that if your day started off with you waking up, your day started off pretty good. Okay, and you have to think about that, because it is all about the opportunities that you make. Now, yeah, luck may have a certain part of it, but the reality is all luck is a middleman. Luck introduces you to a challenge or an opportunity. And either you're ready for that challenge or opportunity, or you're not. And ultimately, it's up to us. And there's been times when I've missed opportunities or missed challenges, but there'll be other ones. Luck will reintroduce you again. It's just a matter of if you're prepared and if you're willing to take a risk sometimes. So I'll be honest, a year ago, I really didn't think I'd be doing this full time. I thought I would be in a different place, and look at how things work out. And it's just kind of crazy to think about all the things that have happened in the last year for me and my family and stuff like that. So I really hope the best for you guys. I really do appreciate you watching. If you guys have any questions about this or anything firearms related, go ahead and send an email to the email address shown below. And at the end of the month, we have a live QA episode where I answer your questions. You can also interact with us on the live stream, send in comments, stuff like that. But if you want to see your question on the show, please email us. I do my best to make sure we keep all that organized. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.